It is finally time to review a movie that probably a lot of people would want someone like me to review if you watch this channel, but it is time to talk about Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. By the way, I saw Indiana Jones 5 and I can't wait to review it. Maybe at the end I'll have you guys decide if you want me to review it or not this early. So anyway, this movie came out in 2008, so that was a while ago. So about 15 years ago. I was probably only 4 when this movie came out. I don't think I was even into Indiana Jones back then because I was too young. But anyway, this movie is quite controversial for many reasons, and we might as well just discuss it. So it's basically about Indiana Jones teaming up with a guy named Mutt Williams, and they're going on a quest to find this crystal skull that leads to a bunch of other crystal skulls, and he meets a bunch of people along the way and has to run into the villain Spalko. And the movie does open, I don't know why, but I kind of feel nostalgic for more of the Lego version of this game. Since I played the Adventure Continues, that game's really nostalgic for me. But anyway, Indy goes to some warehouse of Area 51, and I remembered in the Lego game, I called it the box world level, where you had to run through boxes and you gotta look for the crystal skull. And that's basically what Indy's doing. He's teamed up with this guy named Mac. Now, I like Mac's design in the Lego game, but in this movie, I'm not in the Mac. I do not like this character. I don't know why. He doesn't do much in this movie other than betray Indy for no reason. Like, he just wants money. Whoever gives him more money, he'll work for. Like, he works with Spalko, and then it's a big deal when they're making Indy look for clues for this crystal skull, and they're using stuff that's magnetic, and eventually they do find it, and Indy decides to try to take down Spalko and her goons, but then Mac points the gun at him, and Indy's like, "Why, Mac?" And then Mac just betrays him over and over again in this movie, and you kind of just don't care about the character. And by the way, this is a spoiler review. And when Mac dies at the end of the movie, you kind of just what? Well, and he's just really greedy. What does he really care about? I don't know. But anyway, Indy does get into this cool chase. It's not that bad. Harrison Ford, dang, he was probably 60 when this movie came out. It's nice that he was still able to want to do this. Even when we were seeing trailers and photos for this movie, we were excited to see Harrison Ford in it, and he's really good in this movie. He is just amazing as Indiana Jones. It's so good that he's still committed to this role, even in the 5th movie, despite... And by the way, happy birthday, Harrison Ford. I think it's his birthday, the time of reviewing this. But anyway, Indy does get into this cool chase where he literally whips and tries to get on top of this car, but he misses, and then he literally just collides into another one, and he's just like, damn, that was close. And then he literally pushes the 2 guys out. We also get a cameo from the Lost Ark. Looks like this is the warehouse where they kept it. I don't know, I guess it's just a cool Easter egg. It's not much, but I don't know, it's just whatever. And then Indy gets into this sort of cool fight with this one soldier guy who's relevant later in this movie. It's a very knuckle punch kind of fight. He has this chain and he's trying to whip at Indy, but instead Indy accidentally turns onto this machine that goes really fast, and Indy and this guy just collide with this thing, and then they're literally going so fast. That scene was cool. We also get a bunch of CGI gophers. Now, I know this movie is more modern in this time and age, and they're trying to improve that stuff they did from the last movie. and they're seeing these CGI gophers. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. I don't really get it. But anyway, this is where the movie gets a little too much. Indy goes to, for some reason, when he is looking around after getting into that big boom chase, he goes to some mannequin-looking village, like this town. It looks very nice and all, but it's just revealed to be mannequins. We even see like a weird show on, and apparently it's revealed that this is actually a nuclear bomb testing, and it's about to set off, and Indy's like, oh crap. And he literally, what he does to escape this nuclear bomb, and no one would survive this in real life, by the way, he literally opens a fridge when he only has a few seconds, and he literally, while the Nazis escape, well, not Nazis, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, and he just opens the fridge and just goes into it, and he almost gets killed after the bomb goes off, and he literally has to move some fruit, and he literally, the town literally explodes, and then Indy is just flying all around in this fridge, and like, it's just like so over the top. Yeah, Indiana Jones is always meant to be over the top, and we can respect that for that, but I don't know about this. Like, come on, surviving a fridge? Like, I mean, he survived jumping out of a plane in Temple of Doom. That could be a good argument, but like, I'm just not buying this whole fridge thing. Like, it's I can come up with something like this, sure, but I don't know if it's done well. Like this, I'm just not feeling it, because like, it just, I don't know. How am I supposed to think Indy survived this? Well, we know what would actually happen if you did this in real life. Anyway, that's my little rant about that scene, and then Indy gets picked up by the CSI. And it's revealed that Spalko is a criminal, or as we thought. And I don't know why this scene felt weird to me. Like it shows Indy, like in his like in the CSI room, and it looks like a completely different movie. It's strange. So anyway, later, some things happen. Indy's still teaching as a college professor. And it's revealed that Marcus Brody died. It's because the actor died in real life. Rest in peace. And Sean Connery did not want to return to this movie, from what I learned. And that's why he's not in this movie either. So they killed him off, I guess. Rest in peace, Sean Connery, as well. But anyway, as this movie goes on, we finally get introduced to the infamous character in this movie, Mutt Williams. So, he's played by Shia LaBeouf, and yeah, Shia LaBeouf's quite controversial. He's the guy that says, do it. He's in the Transformers movies. That's all I think of when I think Shia LaBeouf, and also in this movie. I don't mind Mutt. I don't know, he seems like a good sidekick character, but his personality's just a little off for me. Like, there's some cool things they did with Mutt. Like, I like how he hangs out with the greasers, and they get into this cool, like, bar fight when Indy's talking to him, when we're finally getting introduced to the Crystal Skull, and it's revealed that they're looking for this professor who was kidnapped, and he's gone missing. So that's what leads to Indy and Mutt on this journey to find this Crystal Skull. And there's some good scenes of Mutt, like he says he just wants to work on motorcycles, and Indy, I just like the scene where Indy's like, hey, you do you, don't let others bring you down for your future. Like, that scene's nice and all, but then later, as he goes on, we do get some cool motorcycle chase scenes and all, but when Indy does go to this one place of Mutt, they finally go to what basically is the Temple of the Crystal Skull. They encounter some natives, and there's this one odd scene where Mutt's like, you're a teacher? And then Indy's like, part-time. Like, he says it in such a low tone voice. Like, it seemed like it was huge scene in like the trailers, but in this, it's just like, it's so different. But it seems like I'm just nitpicking this movie, but honestly, this movie, I don't think it's bad. It's just, it's easily the weakest of the Indiana Jones movie. It still has that Indiana Jones feel to it, and like it feels like a new vibe. That's what I feel doesn't work for this movie. It's hard to explain, but Indy and Mud do find the crystal skull. It's quite neat looking. Like, I feel the iconicness of this crystal skull. But even though they're just holding a plastic skull and all, but they do get captured by the Nazis. The soldiers. I don't know why I keep calling them Nazis. I'm just so used to the Nazis being in Indiana Jones movies. But anyway, Spalko wants to use the skull to learn knowledge, apparently. And so she tries to use this psychic connection with Indy and the skull. Like, this scene was always weird to me. I don't know why. And they do find Oxley, who was captured. We also see the return of Marion, which was... I don't mind seeing Marion again, but, like, why is she in this movie? Like, it feels like they just randomly threw her in the movie because, I don't know, they like Karen Allen and Harrison Ford's relationship. But, yeah, it's nice to see Marion, I guess. We do get some cool scenes where, like, Indy and Marion fall into some quicksand. And they do get out, but Indy's too afraid because he has to grab a snake. But, yeah. We also get this... this is where the movie didn't really work for some people. We get this jungle chase scene. This scene's fine. I do like the machinery they're using with that tree cutter thing. Like, that, I always like that vehicle. And we do get some cool car chasing. But, like, I feel like Indy's kind of sidelined a little in this chase scene. Because we're getting Mutt in a sword fight with Spalko. It's not a bad idea. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like Indy could have had more scenes. And, like, the way the movie looked. I'm not trying to judge the filmmaking. Because that stuff's hard. But, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like they're in a jungle when I'm looking at it. We also get the scene where Mac is suddenly on Indy's side now. He's just like, "Oh, hey, Jonesy," and then Indy's like, "Hi, Mac." And so they end up getting away from Spalko, and they end up falling down a waterfall. And yeah, we do later get some cool scenes where Indy has to fight one of the soldiers from earlier with a chain, and the way he dies is so over the top. Like, they're also fighting ants and fire ants, and he ends up, when Indy ends up throwing the guy near the ants, and they're protected because Oxley has a skull, and who also has gone crazy. And the soldier guy dies by getting literally taken away by the ants, and we see it go into his mouth. It's like, ooh. That scene was probably the freakiest. More freaky than the heart ripping out scene. Yeah, and then later they go to some temple that we finally get to see how these crystal skull things work. They run into some natives or Indians. And I don't know why, but I find this is where we show Spalko's evil side. She ends up killing all the natives. Apparently Indy and the gang got along with the natives because they have the crystal skull. And I don't know why, I really want to talk about Oxley's character. I don't really feel much for this character. Like, he seems like he has potential to be an interesting character because he's an archaeologist too, who's also a colleague of Indiana Jones. They've known each other for 20 years. I just wish we got more that we could have gotten a sense of their relationship. But anyway, when they finally go to the temple, they put the skulls together, and yeah, that's where some freaky things happen. We get to see aliens in Indiana Jones. Whoops. But some people really don't like aliens being in Indiana Jones. I'm going to give my opinion on it. My dad doesn't like this movie because he's a big Indiana Jones fan, but he doesn't like the sci-fi aspect of it. And, like, he doesn't like how they're aliens in the movie. But honestly, aliens is not a bad idea. I mean, Indiana Jones has explored tons of over-the-top stuff. Like, the Lost Ark shows ghosts literally melting people's faces off. The second movie literally has a guy ripping people's hearts out, for God's sake. And the third one's just about them looking for a cup that can restore wounds. Like, come on. Indiana Jones has always had over-the-top themes with it. Like, that's what makes it fun. And Aliens, I don't mind it. Like, I can see why people don't like it, but I don't. Yeah, there's probably weirder stuff in Indiana Jones, like in the expanded universe of it. But I don't know, I'm not really too familiar with that stuff. Anyway, Spalko dies in kind of the weirdest way. Like, I guess too much knowledge. She's like, I want to know, and then she literally dies of knowledge. And it's just like, what? And then our crew escape, and then Mac dies, and you're just like, what? And then they literally get thrown out of a geyser, and then our crew decides they're in a good mood, I guess, and then like Marion and Indy decide to get married, and then the hat that Indy has falls off, and then like for the winds, and then it looks like Mutt's gonna put on the hat, but they're probably thinking, oh, we're getting Mutt Williams Jones the movie or something, and then like Indy's like, nope, put the hat back on. That scene was nice. So that's Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. I know I said a lot of nitpicks about this movie. I completely understand the criticisms for this movie, but I don't think it deserves the hate it got for its time. Like I feel like they tried to do cool stuff with this movie, and I guess it just didn't work for some people. Honestly, this movie ain't too bad. Like I said, honestly, I'd give it like maybe a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. Like, I don't mind watching Crystal Skull, but honestly, I prefer to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. So that ends my Indiana Jones movie review. So comment below if you want me to review Indiana Jones 5. I know I review newer movies later in the year, but honestly, I might make this exception. By the way, I'm going to review Indiana Jones video games. I look forward to that. So, thanks